in portrait mode, and apparently that fixed everything.
Okay.
I don't know.
You yelled at me every time I joined in portrait mode.
I don't know. That's apparently the only reason it's gonna let you on here. Whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works. We're good. I'm glad to finally see you.
Yeah. That was weird. I could talk. I could hear Michael. I could hear all of you guys, but you guys couldn't see or hear me.
Man. Enemy's working hard to keep us apart. That's all I got.
Pretty much.
China.
It's just China. Dude, we already got the attention of China, and they're trying to hack this podcast.
Oh my God.
I don't know. We should be flattered or scared or both.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not recording it, are we? Oh, we are recording. Look at that.
100% record.
This would be a great playback.
I like the little banter, so I just randomly hit record, and we just see if you guys pick it up, and then we just roll into it.
I think, yeah. I know a few people that might appreciate that.
Well, good. I hope they appreciate it, because we're on episode 9, fellas. Episode 9.
That's crazy.
Here we go.
That is crazy. I was reading a stat earlier, said a lot of podcasts don't even get to 10. Most don't get to 20. So we're halfway to being more than most. I don't know how to say that. Yeah.
Above average.
Average.
Exceedingly normal. Yeah. Something.
Exceedingly normal. There you go. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in and everything. Those who are listening, either on YouTube or Spotify, we're kicking this off. Episode 9, Broco Podcast. My boys Mike and John here. We finally got John connected. I think it's his iPhone, personally. I think his iPhone just hates my Android, and they have beef, and it just doesn't work.
You know, you could get a new iPad this month.
You can. I've already sent it to you.
That would be great. That's fine. I will use it and appreciate it and love it, and it just won't link up to anything else.
No, it'll be good because I'm also going to get 12, and I'm going to get the watch as well, and you're going to get both.
Boom. Hey, I will accept.
That would be hot. That'd be cool.
I'm just saying.
I love it. I'll take it. I don't mind. I'll mess around with some Apple products for a little bit. I used to back in the day, like the first generation. I'll switch back over. Yeah. Just age myself a little bit. So today, and then I did awesome. I had an AirBook, like one of the first AirBooks or whatever. I don't even think they call them AirBooks anymore, do they?
No, I don't think so.
It was
a real light
Mac,
thing, like a reader.
Yeah. That was a white one, and set it on top of my car, leaving church, and took off down the highway with it. So it shattered, and I never got another one. That's what I get.
Your hatred of Apple is because you let it fly off the top of your car?
What was that?
I said, so your hatred of Apple stems from you letting it fly
John
off the
breaking
back
up,
of your
or
car?
am I being slow?
That's you. You're at 86%.
That's me. I still haven't gotten my internet fixed, obviously. I still got to remember to call them.
Yeah, it's him. Oh, that's funny.
I'm glad Michael got that.
I thought it was John at first, but it's definitely Ian.
No, definitely the Android. He's going to play this game again tonight.
So the next podcast is going to be about getting a new Wi-Fi mesh system that serves your whole home. Stay tuned.
I can't believe I still get to do that. Oh my god, it's gonna be actually clear with no interruptions because I can't remember to call my internet provider and upgrade my internet. Oh my!
If you can wait, they're expensive. We ended up the mesh systems are expensive now. They used to be like $300. You could pay up to $600 to $800 for a decent system.
Jeez, yeah, no thanks.
Anyway,
I'll just work on that fiber or whatever. Yeah, so so we just went over the topic is today being a leader in your romantic relationship. Kind of heavy, and I'm sure we could get pretty deep into this or not, depending on how late we want this to run. Leading in your romantic relationship, whether it's wife, girlfriend, future wife, future girlfriend, whatever it may be, there's kind of a fine line. Boyfriend. That's true. If that's whatever your preference is, hopefully it's traditional, but God loves you all. So
and that's for all my Navy brothers, just in case y'all are watching.
Perfect. So whatever tickles your fancy, balancing leadership in your romantic relationships. Hopefully it's a husband and wife or boy and girl. Jeez, oh my gosh. We're going to have fun with this one. This is going to be interesting. It's a fine line. I think you guys would agree, balancing leadership with partnership. I think it's a...
Did he cut out?
He's totally
Okay.
going to fizzle out.
And so where he, oh, there he is. It is
Hey,
a
I'm
fine
back.
line because at some point in time it gets to be a little bit, is domineering a word? I think it's a word.
Sounds like a word. Let's roll with it.
When you're, yeah, like, we know what it means. Whether it's a word or not, we know what it means. God, it's tough finding that balance, right? Because, like, we know each other's wives now, which is phenomenal. We've had the opportunity to meet. I've got the sweetest wife. We are very much a partnership. And if one of us tries to, like, if the seesaw gets too hard, it's like it slams back down. I don't know if you guys ever played that game on the playground where you slam it down. Like, we like to keep a very good balance. And if it gets too out of balance, somebody's going to end up getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard thing to do.
Communication. Yeah, communication. Like, hands down, learn that through therapy, learn that the hard way. Huge fan. Free shout out. We're not getting sponsored yet, but free shout out for the app Paired. Paired.
Okay.
You can go in and every single day it'll give you a question about your relationship. Today's question is like, tell me about your first date. What do you remember about your first date? You know, how was your first kiss? What do you remember? Was it this? Was it that? Was it like a movie scene?
And it asks
And
both
that
of them?
all. Yeah, you both get it. So you download the app, and similar to Duolingo, it's like, oh, this person completed their challenge for the day. Did you do yours? But after, and not until you have already answered the question, can you see what the person on the other end said. And so it's kind of fun. Like, there's some really deep stuff. How do you handle money? How do you do this? How do you feel? But to the point of where we're at right now, like, how do you feel when your partner takes charge? How do you like your partner to take charge? And it comes back to like that foundation of communication. Are you able to understand? I say understand. When somebody is talking, are they communicating or are they just throwing words out and hoping that you hear them? Paired.
I'm actually downloading it right now. This is why it was a
There you go.
brief flag. Yeah, for sure. Whatever this is. Yeah, communication is huge, and that's a lot harder. I mean, obviously, your odds are you and your significant other aren't going to see eye to eye in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is obviously paramount. You brought up therapy and everything, which we have also enjoyed and utilized and stuff. What are some good techniques communication wise that you and Christine have found, or you and Sam have found that work for you guys to help build that communication? For me, it's just I just need to learn to shut up and not say things.
So active listening is, God, I hope I don't screw this up. I mean, we're on episode 9, right? Like, we should know this stuff. Active listening is taking what has been said to you and communicating it back. So your question is like, what are some things I want to make sure that I understand? What you're saying is, what have you taken away? That would be like active listening. So I'm taking your words and making sure that I understand them before I form any thoughts beyond that. It lets you know that I'm paying attention, lets you know that I understand your intention. It also, for the individual who wants to be heard, gives them an opportunity to understand how their communication is coming across. You know, if we were having an argument and I said, you know, it's my understanding that, and this is a conversation that Christine and I've had, like, it's my understanding that me having a boat is a financial frustration because we could be paying off the house more quickly. Like, is that where we're at? And it's like, well, that's not exactly what I meant. Like, if you were concerned about money, then you should be concerned about a boat. Like, okay, you know, then this is where we're at, and this is how we communicate that. It's not at any point in time ever saying, you're doing this, you're doing that, this is how you always are. It's, I feel as if I'm not supported. I feel as if you frequently want me to, whatever it may be. And between active listening and statements that are I feel and not accusatory, this is how you are, this is what you do to me, but this is how I feel when we are whatever it may be. You can diffuse so many situations And you can both it gives you the opportunity to walk away from an encounter feeling a whole lot better than you might have otherwise. You can build up instead of breaking down.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's huge. Bible talks a lot about the importance of watching your tongue and the words you speak and how they literally are. Like you said, you can either build people up or tear it down. John, you got anything you and Sam do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I like what Mike about the communication. Got you. No, as Michael was talking about active listening and all of that, I know, like, especially as you have kids and you add more schedules to the mix and the kids become into sports and, life gets crazy. Life gets busy, life gets crazy. Whether you work one job, two job, you might be balancing 4, 5, 6 schedules in your house. Our greatest gift sometimes we can give somebody else is our time. And sometimes, honestly, you have to schedule that time. And like with our significant other, sometimes we have to schedule just some one-on-one time each night, like just like 15, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever it is, when the kids are in bed or whatever it is, for us to just debrief on our day. Like Michael said, that allows for that chance to active listen, because it's hard to active listen while you're cooking dinner and the kids are doing homework and one's at practice and you're trying to text each other on the phone. I mean, it can get really hard and to be really distracting. So, I think it's really important, especially for like Samantha and I, to intentionally schedule that time where we can just sit down, nothing else bothering us, put the phones away, look at each other, and just be like, all right, how was your day? What was going on? If something comes up, work through it together, and not have to worry about Caleb or Nora doing this or that or spilling this from dinner or running in and who knows what happens, right? So I think part of active listening is just making sure you set aside that time. And again, it's whether you have kids or not, but making sure that you have that time. I think he's freezing again.
It's thinking. I think.
Yeah.
How easy is it to go to bed? And I'm guilty of this. This happens in our household. You got your phone, and those few minutes of quiet time, unless you're one of those people that gets up early in the morning with your spouse and has a cup of coffee before the kids are out of bed, and you enjoy the peace and quiet, I'm not that guy. I'm not. But there are probably only a few minutes for the dads that you get alone with that wife. And, they're, oh, I need to decompress. I don't want to be touched, this, that, and the other. What's going on? Like, let it out. Let the emotion out. I think that's kind of like the unspoken. We think leadership in a relationship, like, oh, I'm going to decide that we do this and that and romance. Well, no, you got to make some plans. I'm forgetting Sarah Marshall, if that's a movie that you've seen where he's learning how to surf. The guy's like, you're doing too much. You're doing now. You're not doing anything at all. Like,
do more, but do less. Do less by doing more. Yeah.
Like, we gotta figure. That's one of my favorite scenes. I've probably referred to that like a half dozen times by now, and I don't even realize it. But we have this role. What did we project when our wife fell in love with us? Were we making the plans for dinner? Were we saying that we're going dancing tonight? Like, grab a nice outfit. We're going on a cruise with our friends. Like, pack the bags, grab the kids, make sure your passport is ready. We are doing the things. That's what leadership looks like. And I think when it comes to romance, it's no secret financial stress is one of the biggest concerns in any relationship. Make a plan. Have a plan. It doesn't have to be perfect, but have a plan and bring it to the table and say, this is what I see. What do you see? What's your perspective? How do you feel about it? And I think that comes into servitude leadership, but it also helps to bring that relationship stronger. And when the relationship's strong, the romance is kind of natural in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Am I off mark on that?
No, I would say you're accurate. I relate a lot to that surfing scene, especially when he's like, you'll figure it out when we get out there.
That was gonna buffer.
He's cutting out.
Yeah, he's just deep in thought.
Dudes, I promise this is going to be fixed by next week. This is insane.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
I'm pretty sure it has a direct
we got
correlation
rolling in the background over here too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think anytime my daughter like screams at the top of her lungs, the signal like freaks out. I don't know how much
She's
you
having a
heard,
rough
but
time.
yeah, I think she's teething and tired and everything, and it's all the things right now. But I relate as far as the surfing scene goes. I relate a lot to the part where he's like, whatever, we'll just figure it out when we get out there. That's me. I don't really know how we're doing this, but we'll just wing it. We'll figure it out, and everything will be good. Because it all comes down to knowing your spouse and your significant other too, right? Like some people you can plan for and make decisions for, and they're okay with it. Some people like my bride, if I were to make plans for her and be like, hey, I made plans for today, here's what we're doing, she would absolutely lose her mind and refuse to do that because that's stressful for her. She doesn't like last minute plans or changes. It overwhelms her. She shuts down. And so like leadership for me would be trying to plan that out weeks or months in advance, making sure I tell her, and then making sure I constantly remember to remind her because there's a good chance she's gonna forget between now and then. But the importance for it doesn't go away, right? Like the importance to lead in any area, biblically in all areas, especially in romance, is huge. You got to take that time. It's so easy to get lost in the hustle and bustle of life and stress. And, it's been a couple months since my wife and I's, last date night. And it was probably before she got pregnant with Anya, before our last one. And it was just, that's me not leading enough to be like, hey, being proactive enough, to set up those dates, but also knowing the love language, so to speak, of what brings out you know your wife or girlfriends or whatever's romantic side. Some, like Mike said, some people don't want to be, some people aren't very touchy feely, some people are, some people like gifts. You can read that whole book and figure it out yourself. It's probably pretty good, but yeah, I think you nailed it. All that to say, Michael, I think you nailed it. I agree. There I go.
Yeah, you did, Michael. You did nail it. And I want to kind of just elaborate on that just for a minute. Because if you're somebody who is like dating someone right now, my hunch is that you are hyper focused on that relationship. Like that you are really just focusing on making it better, improving it, all these things. And a lot of times I feel like when people get married, sometimes that desire or that intensity for that relationship can sometimes cool down. Then you add kids into the mix, you got more in the mix, and it can. And I remember a really good friend of mine telling me one time, your courtship doesn't end at the altar. It doesn't end when you're exchanging the vows. That's really when it's just beginning, and to always be a student of the game. You should always be pursuing your bride. You should always be trying to learn her, because guess what? She's going to evolve. She's going to change. I know my bride changed a lot with motherhood. Motherhood changed her a lot for really great things. But if I'm not committed to continuing to pursue her and study her, and like Ian talked about with the love languages, I mean, if I'm not investing in her, then I'm not really being a good leader in that way. And I'm not showing her that she's a priority to me, which she is. She's a big priority. Just continue to be, for anybody listening out there, it's like, just continue to be a student of the game. Don't just settle for that associate's degree that you have on your bride. Don't settle for that bachelor's, go for the PhD. Know them inside and out. You want to. You're the one that's going to spend eternity with them. You want to know them better than anybody else.
And romantically, like, I absolutely believe the person that you fall in love with can be everything that you ever want in life. They can be your hiking partner, your skiing, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you have to be the one to teach them. And that was a lesson learned when I tried to teach my wife how to ski. And after like the second time, she's like, I quit, threw the poles down on the ground and like hasn't touched skis again. Right. But I think like we started and we've had conversations about money too. When you're able to provide those opportunities, would it be incredible to get her a ski instructor and take her out to Utah or somewhere where it's like not Northeast snow that's junk ice and like, oh, I fell down, it's soft, like I'm gonna get back up. Absolutely. Provide the experiences, provide the opportunities, enjoy the food, enjoy the dinners. I've fallen through on that. My own confession. You guys might have heard me getting ragged on a week and a half ago. Like, I told her I wanted to learn how to salsa dance. We took 6 or 8 lessons. That was it. But that's kind of cool because coming back to that, we've been married 18 and a half years, I think it is. She's like, so when are we gonna do the dance lessons? Well, now we've got date night that we can open up an app on the computer, stuff we never even imagined. And it's like, there's date night. The kids are at home. We don't need a babysitter. They're teenagers now. But like, if you got kids at home, all right, maybe you don't have a babysitter you can trust. In the military, that's a thing. Depending on where you're at, who you got nearby, bring the date home. Find ways to be fun. And again, be the person that you were like when you fell in love.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be pricey or flashy or expensive. Just got to be together. As much as I think at the core, we want to be able to provide that, give them everything, show them everything, shower them with everything. I mean, not everybody probably is like that, but, on some level you want to provide well and good for every date night and everything like that. But I can't tell you how many times, just to piggyback off that, Mike, where we made plans for a date night, I went to drop the kids off, come back, and she's like, "You want to just sit and watch a movie?" I was like, yes, I do.
Huge.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it.
And he's out.
We've been there.
Oh my gosh, dude.
We've been there.
I will say,
as what daylight to change the topic
couch.
for a second. Daylight savings time. You guys feeling it yet?
Yes, and I'm back. Yes.
I think we could do another episode on daylight savings if we work it in. And the scam that it is.
I'm thankful for you guys. Have I told you that yet?
Appreciate you guys. And so, you guys ever watch Top Gear? Like the original Top Gear with the British guys on it? Where like the guy's car just drives off the cliff and they're like, well, that concludes this episode and we'll see you next week where we review the new Dacia.
We sign off. It just lags out.
That was a loud bolt and lightning. Hope he's okay. Anyway, so here we go. That's where I was 3 months ago. Literally, that's how I know the Wi-Fi systems cost so much now because mine used to jam up all the time. To summarize, if you're just tuning in, if you somehow forwarded to the end, you wanted to catch the punchline, communicate. And communicate is not saying what's on your mind, but communication is actually comprehending, understanding, and relating to the things that your partner is telling you. Take those things into consideration. They don't have to be personal attacks. Make decisions, be yourself, and go in for the kiss every now and then, smack the butt. Do the things.
Be romantic.
So, I think this kind of went the direction we were going the entire time and got booted, which I hate for him.
He's gonna be frustrated on that one. He's already come back.
Okay.
How are you going to tell me I don't have internet connection when I have full freaking internet connection everywhere else? Okay, rant over. My gosh.
All right. I would propose that's a perfect place to up.
I would agree.
What do you think, Ian?
I think and that wraps up episode 9 of the Broco podcast.
Appreciate y'all joining us. Stay tuned for next week. I don't even remember what we're talking about next week.
I think only he can end recording.
Fatherhood leading as a dad is next week. Y'all just hop off whenever. I'll get the hint, and whenever my thing decides to friggin' cooperate, I can do that. But yeah, I did want to say real quick.
Tuck my kids in. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
We can.
No,
leading as a dad. We'll finish it. Leading isn't commanding. That's it. That's really it. Leading is also being humble and involving your spouse and treating her as an equal. It's not commanding and being in charge and always being right. So that's it. That's all I got because this internet's pissing me off. I'm at like 4%.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night.
You too, Michael.
Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
You got to be kidding me, right? You got to be kidding me. All right, so guess that's the end of the podcast. I'm sorry. My internet issues is causing problems, but hopefully you got something out of that podcast. It was brief and it was kind of quick to the point, but leadership in romantic relationships as a whole, got to take the lead, got to communicate well. If you got any further questions on that, let us know. We can get further into it. Yeah, I'm going to fix my internet, because obviously we can't keep doing this to you guys with my crappy internet. So I'm going to go take care of my screaming baby. Love you guys. Find us on YouTube or Spotify. Share, like, comment. It helps us in the algorithms. Thank you all so much for your support. This is episode 9. didn't go as planned, but we worked with it. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you later. We'll see you next week for episode 10.